flash kicks on Lee Sin,
yeah,
then you'll see something happening, which kind of segues into pick ban because Lee Sin could be a priority between
We'll definitely be looking towards those champions, as now we've got WE. They've got priority for the first round. They are going to take blue side. And with a quick fizz ban, of course, respecting that super strong champion along with 2 jungles and a couple of top laners, Kog'Maw falls through as a first pick for Mystic, and Kog'Maw has been massive for the LPL over the past week.
And definitely between both of these teams, Mystic and Ben, they'll love themselves some Kog'Maw Lulus, and 100% Smlz, who has played that champion even when it was not in meta last split. So it's a good takeaway, and at the same time, you've mentioned it, current meta, Kog'Maw Lulu has been the go-to bottom lane here.
It'll actually be really interesting looking through this pick and ban to keep an eye on the priority that these teams look towards, because there are so many different carry roles when you look at the like of WE. You've got Mystic, you've got Xiye, condi is on his Rengar, which is absolutely massive, whereas OMG, they've been relying a lot on Smlz during the end of the regular season, but we just saw 2 days ago Icon put a whole team on his back and, like Atlas himself, carried them to the top of the mountain. So can he do it once again, this time against the likes of Karma, Kog'Maw, and now Condi on that Rengar?
Yeah, and that's it's going to be fun that the Rengar got picked up, but that was just a response to the Lee Sin that both of these junglers do thrive on. Condi is well known as the best jungler so far, the LPL split, spring split. Meanwhile, World 6 has done such good work. You say he's a close runner-up, I'd put him as the second best. So the matchup here in the jungle position is super nice to see. So getting Lee Sin versus Rengar, I want to see what World 6 can do once he hits level 6, and if Condi can look to pressure out and get proper lanes shoved in. Because that Karma, yeah, sure, it could go to the support position. You might even expect it to, but Xiye has picked it up quite a bit himself. So you might even just see it being, it is a definite flex pick.
Yeah, Xiye so far has played it twice in the regular season. It looks like OMG are predicting that to go towards Ben. He has actually played it twice as well, so it really is 50-50 for where it goes. But OMG, they're hedging their bets. They're saying that's going bottom lane with the Kog'Maw. We also want to get rid of the very strong mobile mage in the mid lane in that Talia to limit Xiye, just in case it isn't. Whereas WE, they're eliminating the other hyper carry on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch is an interesting one. We've seen it from just a little bit, a tad bit, and it is a pick that Smlz has shown in the last set that we saw him in.
Oh, interesting. They don't actually know, because that's a mid ban and a support ban with the Nami follow-up.
What I was interested in is if the Karma went towards the mid lane, then there is a slim support pool ready. Zyra is still up, but Nami does a good enough job in terms of making it so if you have like a Nami, Kog'Maw lane, if you do get pushed in, if you do get punished, depending on what Smlz picks for himself, then you got the Nami to back you up with the sustain.
Oh my
That's what
God.
I'm talking about.
That's a Jinx locked in for Smlz for the second time in 2017. Wow, the only other person to play it so far this year in the LPL has been Imp on LGD, and that's a completely different story.
Yeah, I just, Jinx, I feel like I have not seen, the only time I've actually seen it being played is through Deft, and you mentioned it, was 100%. Another one I'm pretty sure was Imp. But other than that, it was nothing.
Yeah.
And so this pick coming through, they have Lulu. And Smlz is one of the tried and true traditional AD carries, even when the meta was surrounded about these utility AD carries. He's playing Jhin. He's playing it in the kill lane. Or he's just going straight into the hyper carry mode.
Yeah, and taking a look at some of his stats on the champion, Smlz has only played Jinx once in professional League of Legends history for him, and that was a loss. He did get a 4.0 KDA overall, so he can put up some numbers, but he's going to have to do it against the likes of Mystic on Kog'Maw and Ben on Thresh, a terrifying bottom lane. And then you've got the Rengar and Kled diving at you. It's a good thing we saw Icon pick up his signature Ahri, because he's going to need to put up some work if he hopes to keep Smlz alive with 5.
Yeah, that is a definite comfort pick. He's going to be the one that either looks for flanks or is just going to be looking to press up and give some Smlz a lot of pressure, which is what Xiyang has been doing quite a good enough job. So that I want to see how Xiyang and World 6 play this through as the supportive positioning of round 5 and how much space Smlz gets in these fights. I feel like literally the last time I saw this being played, I remember it now. LGD picked it up, and it was the worst Jinx I've seen.
It was really bad.
It was bad because they couldn't really get their combinations well and done. So I want to see how they're playing. How much practice have they had with the Jinx?
it's so interesting to see them break it out in game number 1. Of course, this is a best of 5, so losing this match isn't too bad. Of course, it does set the momentum for the beginning of the series, but we've seen OMG come back from an 0-2 deficit before, so they're very comfortable with that.
Yeah, but on the other side, you have Thresh being picked up by Ben, and he has outshined Zero, who is the marquee Thresh player.
Yeah. That's a huge statement. If you've got the new support, the new rookie in Ben joining WE, outshining Zero. That's a huge statement for him. We're going to be looking for him to follow up with Mystic in the bottom lane, who we know is an excellent AD carry, one of the best in the region, one of the best in the world. And with the rest of WE following up with some strong picks as well to support Mystic, we can see where the priorities sort of lie towards these teams. Of course, you've got the Kog'Maw on one side, you've got support from Xiye and Ben to keep him alive, but then you've also got Condi on that Rengar. And Condi, I just have flashbacks to that one game where he was 10-0 and 7 at like 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrifying. He's taking that up against World 6, who he's going to have his work cut out for him if he hopes to keep up with Condi.
And that's the big focus here. Condi, if he smells a lead, just a small lead in terms of his 1v1 potential up against the enemy jungler, even if it's just based off level 1. So that's why
it's going to be spicy.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. As a result, though, we have loaded on the Rift. It's game number 1 of the semifinals, our first best of 5 of the day. Team WE taking on Team OMG. And listen to the crowd.
Good God, that man was excited.
Oh, we actually didn't get any OMG chance. All WE outshining Team OMG here. So perhaps the audience themselves, that 6th man showing up in numbers for WE. We'll have to see if it also shows up for OMG as we get to the fan vote later. But as you can see, we've got our masteries on the bottom of the screen. Looks like Warlord's Bloodlust out of Mystic. And Fervor of Battle out of Smlz, plus Thunderlords across the other 3 from OMG.
Yeah, so what's surprising me is immediately, of course, it's Thunderlords on Lulu. You usually see a bit of protective, Windspeaker's Blessing. Not going to happen here. He wants to be able to combat that one. Whenever it comes to 5, if he ever gets those champions, like Nami, for instance, he will go towards Thunderlords.
And look at what WE are doing right here, setting up the very heavy leash for Condi. He gets a very fast start, which means the bottom lane for Mystic and Ben. On a Kog'Maw Thresh, you would imagine, hey, prioritize the Kog'Maw, keep him safe. They're going to be at a push disadvantage early on in this game.
It's going to be interesting to see. It should be a level 2 advantage for Smlz. Jinx, it's incredibly easy to be able to get that level 2 advantage, not just because they started out in the lane, but because she likely started Q. She's not sure. There we go. And she can just push up the back line very easily. Get the instant shove.
Just getting a few hits onto Mystic to assert dominance. Let's see if he continues to shove it in to try to break this. World 6 is on this side of the map, and taking a look at Condi, he actually went back and finished the large Raptor, so it looks like he's going for a full clear before a possible invade after this blue.
And World 6 is going to be really happy about the fact that he was spared in the level 1 portion of this one. That was just Rengar getting a good lead to the bottom side of the map. Whenever you see these small advantages, be it Rengar, be it Graves more so into the Lee Sin, teams will look to invade a little earlier on and look to track if they ever see that they have positive lane matchups and at the same time positive jungle. He could have done that simply because Karma into Ahri is awful for Ahri. Karma, especially that she has Death by Touch, you just get these trades. It's fine early on, but you come to a point where Karma will be able to get instant shove, harass, and poke constantly in the lane, and it will be able to help Condi out whenever he does look towards those invades on Raptors.
Yeah, and you would imagine that Ahri is capable of sustaining in an attrition-based lane, but as you said, it's so difficult with the constant chip damage that Karma is doing. Taking a look at the junglers, we've got an early recall from Condi. He's actually not invading, going straight for double longsword, and we're also seeing a matched recall from Xiye as he teleports right into lane with a Dark Seal. World 6, though, doesn't feel too safe, despite the fact that the mid laner just went missing in the top. The jungle is still gone from the map. Decides to play it safe, not going for his Krugs. Condi, oh man, with those longswords, he was looking to catch Lee Sin at those Krugs. He was looking for a duel.
Yeah, but that's why you should be playing safe if you're on. They don't really have a lot of positive matchups except for perhaps the bottom lane, but they can't utilize it all too much because Jinx and Skirmish is going to have a little bit of a tough time depending on how it's played out. But you look towards top side, OMG, essentially bleed out. Kled into Gragas. Gragas has a tough time once the items come through. And then Karma into Ahri is also a really tough one for Ahri. So you just have lanes, top side of the map for WE that works out for them and should help Condi out in just searching for and making those items advantage that doesn't exist anymore because Lee Sin did get it back for himself.
They managed to spot out Condi as he made his way towards Krugs, immediately World 6 recalled and matched his items exactly. So he's slight tempo disadvantage because he did have to wait to see that Rengar complete the recall.
What this does mean, even though it's not an exact advantage, like he's seeking them out, constantly shoving them off of controllers, or at least pushing off of camps, he has him warded up. Control ward near the red buff, as you can see to your left, and of course just above him, World 6 is known. They know where he is simply because of that trinket.
So just trying to tag vision of that Lee Sin very early on. You can even see 957 is pulling himself down into the river in case that Lee Sin shows up for a skirmish, but World 6 looks for Scuttle, but finds Knife Cat instead as the two of them high-five in the river and make their way back. Meanwhile, Xiye has been hard shoving in this mid lane. Not missing too many CS at all as 5 and Smlz just continue to keep themselves occupied down here in the bottom lane. This is great for both of them. The longer this laning phase goes on, the more gold that they can get, the better poised they will be to transition towards those huge hyper carry status.
Exactly, and the only real problems we're seeing on the map is in the top side, Xiyang versus 957. It's just a small bit of a CS advantage in favor of Kled. And Kled, now that he was able to get the Tiamat for himself, he's going to be a little bit more comfortable in skirmishing, comfortable on pushing in and trying to find those HP advantages. And so just to keep track on that one, because Xiyang has to be afraid of possible dives, be it from just a 2-man dive with Rengar, or depending on how Xiye is doing in this lane, that could be a 3-man dive as well. So OMG's recognizing that, and it's how they play through mid lane that really dictates how safe Xiyang is going.
We just saw staggered deep warding from Icon and World 6. Smlz and 5 have been shoving in bottom lane time and time again, so Ben is not unlocked to roam with Condi. This has been a huge strategy of success for them, and now they're heading down towards that bottom side, but Condi's already there.
Yeah, but Mystic's taking a lot of damage.
And the zap goes in. Flash charm onto Ben. That's exhaust, but it's still first blood. Meanwhile, World 6 flashes away from Condi. Get away. Tags onto the Dragon. Smites to heal himself up and retreats. Dragon will not be able to follow, and that's first blood OMG.
Really well played out of OMG to understand what was happening bot side. That one bit of an advantage Icon was able to get in back time. His Karma was nowhere to be seen. Just gives it a bit of a visit. TP was gone of Xiye because he TP'd much earlier on, so they knew they had a number advantage. They checked him out. The only real scare was World 6, who ran into the Knife Cat and was able to just get him out of there.
Kept him busy.
Yeah, that smite too to keep him sustained and not get blown up by that dragon. Proper state of mind, they're focused.
World 6 pulled out a ball of yarn to keep Condi occupied while his team was diving bottom.
That's all you need.
Condi fell for it.
That's all you need. If that didn't work, get that laser out.
Absolutely.
That's all you need. That's all you got.
However, that does mean we got to see Xiye get some great vision along with, 957. Onto this top side of the jungle, Xiye walks forward, immediately disappearing from lane. World 6 very intelligently just pulls that bramble back away. So that is a very comfortable advantage for Smlz. He's got first blood. You can see it looks like he is going for Blade of the Ruined King very early on with that Jinx. Icon also has that assist. And OMG playing a very intelligent game. They're keeping the bottom lane of Mystic and Ben locked down so that Condi is the one looking to make all the plays. But now that he's unlocked, they group up and start setting up for a pick.
Yeah, OMG recognizes this though. They're playing around it. They can't contest these wards. Thankfully, that one still stays up. But they were in for a skirmish. If anyone looked for Condi when he was clearing that, then even Kled moved up on the top side of the map.
Yeah.
So that would have been WE taking the win. Oh, here we go.
That's the cask being used, but Xiyang walks right back into the violent tendencies. Not a very good trade there. He's Gragas, so he should be able to heal up, but he did start double Doran's cloth armor.
That's a worst case scenario though, especially since he's low in mana. Gragas is great in terms of sustain in the lane, but if those trades like that happen around, you gotta start to eye Condi and where he starts to move from this point forward. He doesn't even need Karma for this.
Yeah, he's level 6. Xiye has teleport as well. He's currently sitting just outside of vision on that bottom side. 957 is about to pop off of Skarl, so this is a great time to set up a dive. Xiyang tries to play it out. Here's the dive. They go forward. Xiyang takes the hit. That's 957 resetting aggro. Skarl is going to be hopped off of, and they don't even have to back away from the turret. A clean dive from WE.
Yeah, the fact that that dive ended while Scar was moving out meant that none of them take actual damage. But that means OMG are trying to respond with this Earth Dragon.
Yeah, but this is table scraps. This is first turret going over to WE on the top side of the map. With Condi and 957 sharing that side of the gold, looks like they have a very strong top lane. They've got that ticking time bomb on a Kog'Maw. WE are going to be feeling pretty great.
And that's what's really worrying. Just take a look at what 957 is doing now. So that wave is going to stick right there for just a little bit. Gragas has to reach out to be able to pick it up. So 957A should feel pretty happy that he got that first turret gold. That is nice to say the least. And he's going to come back to a wave, push that out, and now Icon's going to have to start feeling a little bit scared. He's going to be feeling that pain because once that ulti comes back up from 957,
the kled starts going missing.
He's definitely going to be looking towards that mid lane turret. And not only that, he has TP advantage, so he can look towards the bottom lane as well. There's already a flank ward that might die, but that doesn't matter. Condi might just look to set up for it.
And that's exactly what you pointed out up top, Raz. That wave is now pushing back in. 957 has got a phage as well, so Xiyang is trying to break it before it can freeze. Luckily, though, 957 does have that Tiamat, so it will passively push over time. But like you said, that just unlocks the Skarl and kled combo even more. And with that first gold and the first turret onto the two of them, top side for WE is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, the only reason why it was pretty relevant that he didn't fully push out the wave when it was the tower was dying is that Gragas couldn't hold on to that wave for a little bit and freeze up. So what 957 wants to do is keep this wave constantly pushed. I mean, he doesn't have a choice in the matter, as you said, because he has Tiamat. But he wants this constantly pushed. Rengar should look to play top side. He's playing bottom side to see if maybe if there is an opportunity, but he's just trying to clear out. If he plays through top side, that is free vision into that red side jungle.
And look at this, OMG have actually got the faster rotation into mid lane. Xiyang pushes his wave out and ducks in, but 957 is pulling attention.
Yeah.
Eventually they have to answer that kled, and that's going to open him up. So in a few seconds, we're about to see 957 unlocked, and there he goes.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter that the Graggy was taking up control at that point in time, because eventually that time bomb, if WE played it cool and calm, you have to go top side. So now this is an opportunity where WE will 100% have numbers advantage for a little bit, depending on where kled goes. He's already rotating towards the mid lane. Sure, Xiyang has TP, but that's 5 seconds of him just not being on the play if and when it happens. So what OMG are doing, they're just backing away. They can't contest. They can't concede. They have to concede, I mean.
We are still seeing an advantage for that bottom lane as Smlz is sitting on the first blood, so he does have a slight stat advantage over Mystic, but we know it's Mystic. He's not going to be too shut down by any sort of difficult laning phase, especially on this Kog'Maw. So the very early priority from OMG to look towards that bottom lane might be hurting them here as WE pivot. They put some priority on the 957 and Condi and are quite heavily rewarded for it.
OMG's mentality in terms of picking up the Jinx, not so much just trying to abuse Kog'Maw in laning phase, more so just scale along with them.
Yeah.
Because that's what's really scary if you are the Jinx, is that once you start to get items for yourself, as costly as they may be, then of course you start blowing people up into the like 30, 40 minute points of the game.
Yeah, the 3-4 item break points.
But she does have a decent lane in terms of the individual matchup. And of course you have Lulu into Thresh, which is always proper for you unless a Thresh starts to go mad. That being said, Lee Sin's looking for something.
Yeah, World 6 makes his way down there. Very favorable trade. He shows himself up with the minions. That's flash knock up onto Ben. He drops the box nice and early, and they're going to fight it. The Super Mega Death Rocket misses. Sonic Wave misses as well. As that Xiye, the whole team from WE is showing up as even 957 gets down there. Condi is split pushing up top. Icon without that teleport is too late to respond.
Yeah, WE were just trying to save their bottom lane, use double teleport for that entire engage. So OMG should feel a little bit happier about all of that. They made the play happen. They didn't get the kill because the Jinx rocket just missed. I believe the flash did go through on that entire point. It did. So it was a dodge out. But they get 2 TP. So they can look to rehash that play with the amount of time given to them.
Absolutely, and there's a huge amount of vision on this bottom side of the map from WE. They've only got 2 wards on the top side, a control in River and then another ward on the Raptor push for World 6. And OMG, seems like their vision is just paltry by comparison. They've got a few wards on this bottom side of the map, but we saw them try to make a play. It was by running down a lane and trying to catch a Kog'Maw Thresh against a double teleport team. It's just not going to happen. It's
going to be easier now, but with how kled is playing this game through, only going top side when he has to clear out that wave, and hell, he's going to miss out that wave right now simply because it took a little bit of time. So he's able to play and look for skirmishes, look for team fights, even without double TP. So OMG still has to play this out a little bit more passively, right? The only thing that OMG can say for themselves is that Icon, he's getting some good looks. He had moments where he was looking towards bottom lane, so that's nice to see him able to get those roams across.
Yeah, the dive very early on for first blood.
And on top of that, World 6 is level 9 already, so he definitely has kick. And so those plays can be made time and time again. They definitely timed up Ben's flash. So they're not going to be looking for Mystic if they do go towards this bot play once again. It's going to be on Ben, so Ben, of course, won't have the ability to save anybody. Can't save himself, especially without flash.
Yeah, we do see Blade of the Ruined King finish for Mystic as he's now returning towards the bottom lane, able to clear that very quickly. Smlz will pick up his own before returning towards that bottom, but WE still prioritizing vision on this bottom side to enable Mystic and Ben to be nice and safe. Even Condi's showing up to harass Icon away.
Yeah, and all of this focus is towards these towers. It's all about the towers right now because the actual dragon, the next dragon is going to be Cloud Dragon, not really any bit of priority. WE, if they had a proper dragon to play off of, they didn't have to look for a risky dive at all or a risky play around it. They might still go towards it just to see if they can re-roll that dice.
Yeah, they're setting up for Cloud Dragon right now, but they are just inside of vision. World 6 is going to try to sneak forward. Scuttlecrab is already secured. He sees that it's being started, but the rest of his team's on the other side of the map. A hook pulls him back in. Flay catches him as he's dashing out. He dies, and 5 follows suit. Icon and Xiyang had no opportunity to follow that up, and Condi is set to die. They're even dropping the kled ultimate. Smlz, you poor guy. Oh, man, he never stood a chance.
All right. What do you think is the proper decision in this play, Mr. Dom?
From OMG?
Yeah.
At best case scenario, it was 3v5 if WE were there. I mean, we saw Mystic and Icon and Xiyang were on the top side of the map. Drop a ward, back away?
Yeah, back away. That's it. They should be happy that was a Cloud Dragon. They should feel happy and say, okay, we can play this defensively. We don't have to poke our heads out of this river. So what was World 6 doing?
Vision.
It just made no sense at this point for OMG to look for a steal, maybe look for a fight. There's no fight happening. Gragas does not have TP. So you're saying, oh, we're going to come in for a 4v5?
Yeah.
Right, it's not happening. So OMG made a crucial mistake. They lost their tower in the bottom side. And what WE is going to be doing at this point, they're just going to be looking mid.
To be fair, that was a really clutch play from Ben, sitting just outside of vision on the corner of the dragon pick, then nailing the hook over the wall.
That's true.
Great setup, but you have to expect this sort of thing from WE. We know they are excellent mechanical players. Now they find themselves at a 2-turret advantage, 4,000 gold ahead as we get closer and closer towards the mid-game. That Kog'Maw is unlocked. He's swapped top right now to get more gold, while Xiye is continuing to keep Icon busy in the mid lane. OMG, though, are set to press down bottom and answer back with a turret of their own.
Yeah, this is a good response coming out of OMG, especially since Jinx can just burn through these towers. She has a Blade of the Ruined King, and of course, machine gunning through it. So they're going to try and look for a race. OMG, or at least WE, are just not in position to respond to that. They have to look to defend, but Kog'Maw and Thresh are just fine to slowly pushing this forward.
Yeah, they're bringing a large minion wave top. Luckily, some vision has been set up from OMG Xiyang on that top side of the map. Smlz is doing great damage. Jinx is so excellent at sieging. Even with the minion wave cleared, there's no response. A little bit of disrespect from WE ends up costing them a tier 2. Mystic is trying to answer back, but Kog'Maw, great though he is at killing champions, not so much as turrets compared to a Jinx.
They just lost so much off of just disrespect. Sure, you don't expect the Jinx play to come through. All right, 5.
Flash
I see you.
Polymorph, yeah, perhaps taking a page from Dan Gaming yesterday.
Maybe, just maybe. Xiyang, though.
Oh, he flashes back onto the turret as Cask was used to clear that minion wave. Icon was spotted roaming up there, so Ben and Mystic are going to fall back nice and safe. But this is WE, as we said, not quite respecting that turret siege, and definitely OMG not respecting the recalls as Condi leaps over, and what the damage!
An actual balloon popping in the mix. That guy's gone.
Yeah, this is semifinals, guys. You have got to respect your opponents. These are the best 4 teams in China. And these are some silly mistakes.
Yeah, thankfully for WE on this one, they are given the amount of time to just be hammering at that turret. OMG were trying to position to flex and go topside, or at least look towards it. They didn't make the proper decision and got caught off here. You can even see Lulu's corpse as it vanishes. Magic trick.
Respawn.
But yeah, you can see it. They could have done it, but now this is WE setting a rep around this mid lane.
Yeah, 957 is on the side. World 6, not sure if he spotted him, trying to clear out those minions with Ahri, but if you aim for Condi and not the minions, that's going to make it tough. Mystic is prepped, Smlz is there, and looks like WE decide not to pull the trigger. They decide to fall back with the minion wave and not risk it. They're only about 4,000 gold ahead when it's said and done. In terms of raw stats, it's still very close.
Yeah, so that's a smart play coming out of WE. They had 957 looming around that tower, just around to the right side to see if he can get a dive across. But it was looking too early. They're in a position where they could just
teleport. Now they're going to go for it again. Teleport to answer from Xiyang. He's going to collapse onto the turret. Just getting some good chip damage, even dropping Condi's ultimate to see if anyone is separated from their team right for the picking.
Yeah, this is a little bit worrying for OMG that they've decided they put themselves in such a hole to just defend. So it could just go on for a little while. And so you have to look towards side waves. OMG's bottom lane is starting to push in. Oh, here we go.
We do have the Ardent Sensor online for Xiye, along with that Athene. So despite Mystic only have Blade of the Ruined King and Zeal, he is going to do damage and just shred through anyone he finds. But on the other side, Smlz's got his own Blade of the Ruined King. You can see Icon finished his Morellos very early on. We're starting to get some tank items on Xiyang. So they decide to stay mid. They've got bottom pushing. They've got top pushing. OMG actually have got a side wave advantage here.
Yeah, so right now it has to be on WE to look to clear up their side waves. But they're not going to have that opportunity if they have to defend this tower. Yeah,
Ben's over the side. Another excellent hook. Nails World 6 from outside of vision. He dies as the fight breaks out. Ben flashes back. 5 looks to be the initial target. Smlz is trying to kite it out, but heal is not enough. Xiyang goes into the back, but Smlz is running. There's no one there. It's only the 2 carries of OMG left, and another hook will miss, but Bear Trap on a rope doesn't. Flash used from Smlz to break it, and it's 21 minutes in. 5 versus 1. WE are making a race towards the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to be able to do it and shred it to pieces. That was a great hook coming out of Ben. They just didn't see him coming because they don't respect that little crevice in the Raptor camp. And so WE is soaring ahead here.
Yeah, Smlz had his ultimate, but here's that fight. Ben starts it with a hook.
It was a beautiful play. And at this point forward, they're just going to be chased down, OMG, because the kled is on the case, and if he gets bear trap after bear trap, you're just burning through.
And this is that excellent fight. Icon tries to go for the outplay, but he eats an empowered Bola just as he tries to Spirit Rush away. So excellent setup from Condi. Baron was picked up by WE. In the duration of that, we saw the Super Mega Death Rocket hit a full health Mystic, so it did minimal damage. However, Ben did die to the Baron, so he will not have that buff. OMG decided to set their sights on the next big objective on that Ocean Dragon. And they will now be 2 dragons to 1, but they have to defend for the next 3.5 minutes against WE with a Baron buff.
Yeah, this is a big problem for OMG, to say the least. Not only are they incredibly far behind on gold, not only are they battling up against Baron minions, but Jinx just does not have flash. She doesn't have sums. She didn't die in the last fight, but she is definitely going to feel some pain as WE have 0 fear in terms of diving.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see the difference in the damage that Smlz versus Mystic was doing. The Ardent Sensor Athene's plus Blade of the Ruined King from Mystic was doing so much, whereas Smlz was just busy trying to stay alive instead of actually kill anyone. Icon tried to go aggressive for a kill, but Condi just put him right back in his place.
Yeah, no, he didn't expect that. I believe he had flash at that moment. Died, nonetheless. Didn't expect that Bola strike.
Yeah, he's able to find some damage onto Condi, but with all of the tier 1s broken, WE are now setting up for a tier 2 in both mid, and 957 with teleport and charge is prepping top. Icon is there on the minion wave, but true damage is only going to do so much against these empowered Baron melee creeps. Smlz gets up there, he's able to clear out the wave, but Icon takes so much and has to Spirit Rush to safety. Immediately, they turn back onto the turret with the chip damage they landed and break it down.
He had to Spirit Rush away from the execute damage coming out of Kog'Maw. That was a little bit too close for comfort, but that means he backs away, and these towers going down. WE was able to get the bottom lane tower. They didn't have the push.
Another excellent hook from Ben keeps Xiyang occupied, but that just buys time for Condi and Mystic to get some damage on the final tier 2 turret. Minions are crashing onto the inhibitor turret bottom, and 5 members of OMG are trying to defend against this. And they walk forward, 957 pushes them off and then turns right back around. He is having a great performance on this kled. And with Mystic to back him up and Xiye doing this huge damage, they can continue the siege.
There's nothing. Oh, here we go.
Xiyang tries to fight. Mystic is actually caught on the side. Sonic Wave and a Polymorph. He's kicked back in, but he flashes back to safety. Meanwhile, 5 is being dived. He goes down, and Smlz is trying to fire across. Does he do enough damage? That's going to be a kill onto Xiye. A big rocket finds it. Icon turns onto Ben. Doesn't have his Spirit Rush, but Mystic gets that kill. Icon is so close. He's almost got the Spirit Rush. Flash, Spirit Fire, almost has the cooldown. It's right there. Even the Orb of Deception to catch up. Condi's there. He has to know. He misses the charm, and Mystic survives to the minions. Finally dies to the last tick of Ignite. So close, but that is the ace from WE.
Mystic is a god in that scenario. The fact that he was able to turn it around. He does a lot of damage, so you have to watch out. WE groups up, and that was OMG's desperate last chance to get the game back for themselves. But WE at least even out the play.
And you can see Condi on your screen smiling big after that, but it all started with this fight.
Xiyang
goes in.
Beautiful coming out of Xiyang to burst him in, and immediately World 6 kicks him out, but Mystic has Flash, and so WE respond well. They dive all in on this play, but just take a look at the damage Smlz is outputting at this moment in time. Of course, AoE damage, and you see the 1v1 coming out of these AD carries. Unfortunately, Smlz locks himself into that animation for his W, so he just gets blasted by Mystic's auto attacks.
Yeah.
And then take a look at this. This is just art, so I'm just going to keep it silent. He hides in the bush. And then he just rolls him down.
Oh. The tiniest of side steps.
Yeah,
that's like Teemo's eyebrow width of distance. So very small, but Mystic, even inside of the vision from OMG, is able to sidestep that as Icon, getting a little overzealous with the charm, misses. And that will cost him an ace. Now, Baron has fallen off of Team WE, but they find themselves 10,000 gold ahead with all of that gold from those kills. Guinsoo's is finished from Mystic. Locket of the Iron Solari has been ticked over for Ben. Ludens is picked up along with the Haunting Guys from Xiye. This is a massive Team WE right now. And while OMG have insurance with a Jinx of their own, she's sitting on 2 items. Oh, Icon tried to put up huge damage in that fight, but disabled by a pick early on, effectively limited his influence. This is becoming more and more difficult as the game goes on for Team OMG.
Yeah, to say the least, it's all up to WE to just finish off this game because this is a very clean victory for them. The only difference, of course, we've seen games come back from this point, so it's going to be about OMG finding their ways to stick in it. We saw the last team fight, how OMG, at the very least, stopped the push going onto this tower. They protected the tower, and for them, that's a victory as is. Even though they lost the preceding fight, they still traded. And so OMG is going to be hoping for those picks, hoping for those looks, time and time again. World 6's flash, or at least World 6's ward hop kick is up and available.
Yeah, Condi sneaks in, and that buys time for Mystic to free fire onto it. They even use 957's teleport. Another hook goes out as Condi races back around. And WE, as you said, it's all up to them to close this game out. They just continue working away at the turret, using ultimates, using teleports to get onto those crucial structures, while the rest of OMG are trying to clear out the minions in time. Another charm misses from Icon.
The good news for OMG is that their top lane is pushing in, but they're going to lose this tower.
Yeah, Condi's tanking in the front. World 6 dashes around, but they have secured the turret. 957 is there, but it's 4 versus 5. Mystic is making up for it, though. What is the damage, Kog'Maw? He continues to chase forward. A double kill, and that's going to be Xiye following up for 4 members dead as OMG try to kite back and find themselves 1 versus 4. Icon, it's time to put your team on your back once again.
Oh, it's far too late for that. 4 members of WE and a wave as small as it is, they're going to be able to take this one.
Icon's got the Spirit Rush, but does he have enough to get the damage? He finds Ben, but that's the support. WE turn onto the Nexus, fully empowered by that amazing setup from the rest of his team. It crumbles, and WE take game number 1.
Yeah, obstacle for OMG to say the least. WE are on point this set.
They are looking so very strong. You can see Xiyang looking a little defeated after that. Perhaps a little flabbergasted, whereas big smiles out of WE. You saw Condi grinning ear to ear just a second ago. 957 with a pretty big grin himself. And Mystic, Mr. Solemn himself, he's trying not to smile, but you could see him holding it back.
Oh yeah, he's going to be laughing when he gets to the back. That's what's going to happen. Take a look at this massive goal lead coming forward for WE. And it really started to go in their favor the moment that top lane skirmish happened. Just that 1v1, that's all it takes. If Gragas just loses one trade, suddenly he gets dove 2v1. Suddenly that's a tower for him. Then that gets pushed forward into Vision in the red side jungle. It just kept snowballing up against OMG.
And it seemed like such an intelligent decision from OMG. Alrighty, we're going to pick the Jinx and Lulu into the bottom lane, keep pace with the Kog'Maw as time goes on. We've got Icon on his signature Ahri. Just don't lose top lane. Don't let any of these other lanes spill over. But then Condi shows up, breaks top. Look at how little damage he did, but how influential he was in setting up for his team.
And that just showcases the communication coming across WE, because that was one small misplay, just a 1v1 misplay coming out of Gragas.
Yeah.
And that snowballs into a massive lead where Icon, sure, he's in a bad matchup as well going up against Xiye, but he was able to even that out and neutralize. But then the pressure is going to be coming where kled doesn't even need TP anymore. He lost his TP when he used it defensively bottom lane.
Yeah.
But then he just kept roaming. He never lived in that top lane anymore. In fact, he was just completely, he cut that umbilical cord. He moved on. He was a free man.
He was. He would just push out the wave, come in, pay his bills, go home, and just continue roaming around the map. That man is a free traveler.
Yep.
And this is a huge statement from WE. We thought this would be a much closer matchup after seeing how OMG played in their set against OMG, but while it was very slow and patient early on, WE took, what, 2, 3 convincing team fights, and from there it was cake.
Yeah. When OMG played against IMA, that was a set that they... It was a tough start. It was a tough start, but then you saw them drawing it back in with incredible, confident plays, individual players really coming together. WE, they're not. I mean, they have some great individual talent, so you have to combat that, and then you see some crisp teamwork and how they play and communicate with one another. So that's how it just. This is going to be a lesson for the OMG to say the least. First game's a lesson, and if you're learning, if you're in school and it's already exam time, it's let's just see.
So this is the first mistake of the game. World 6 tries to look for a Dragon Seal, and Ben, just outside of vision, look at this. Nails the hook.
But you know that's a Thresh on the enemy team, and you know that's a Cloud Dragon open, and you know that you are behind and there's time in the composition that WE is grouped up for this Dragon. Can leave the Dragon alone.
Yeah, they dive as a collective unit for Smlz, even being so kind as to give that kill over to Mystic. You could very easily tell the priorities for WE. All right, we've got a Kog'Maw. Set up lots of vision to keep him safe if they dive. We turn it around. We go top.
But like, this is when you start to question World 6's positioning at this point, because he didn't have Gragas. He wasn't going to have Ahri at that play. So what was he looking for? Is he going to look to smite steal a Cloud Dragon? It was just him looking to see where they are, just based off of just curiosity, perhaps.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, you know, I'm just going to give him a, what's behind this? What's sick that I got hooked?
What's behind door number 3?
Yeah.
Death!
Don't look at door number 3.
Death and destruction.
Don't check any of those doors if you don't have to. That's not the game show you want to be a part of.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's the difference that we're seeing. When OMG played this sort of cheeky style against IMA, sure, game number 1 and game number 2 was a little bit difficult, but they were allowed to get away with these mistakes because IMA, not as clean at communicating as WE, not as crisp in moving around the map as Team WE. But now you take a look at this team. Mystic is going to get the MVP at 8-1-7. Very solid play in lane. Huge damage. 41% of his team's damage.
Yep. And so it's always tough to go into these MVPs because you think, oh, every one of those players played incredibly well. And we mentioned Condi, we mentioned top lane in 957, but Mystic did well in lane. It just there were a few mistakes that were made, but he was in a tough lane to start with. And then in those team fights, you saw the confidence come through, and you saw him moving up. This was a great play, simply based off of Ben's hook, and they just move up. And that's just the damage coming through Kog'Maw. The man is incredibly safe. Even gets blown away by the cask, and he just walks up. Easiest play of his life.
Yeah, you can see how much they're empowering the team. Xiye using the shield to get him forward, again empowering him with another one. This is just after the Ardent Sensor has been completed, so he does huge damage in that fight, empowered by both the the Thresh and that Karma. So a huge setup from WE to, again, put all of their, I guess, prowess into Mystic and say, we've got a Kog'Maw. We know it's Mystic. He's going to carry eventually. We'll just wait for it. Yeah. Oh, look, you're trying to fight us. Kog'Maw's online. Let's go.
And they had a lot of pressure points, so Kog'Maw was essentially, I wouldn't say a couch potato, but that is an AD carry who's going to be incredibly comfortable at that point in the game when your kled is incredibly far ahead, right? When your Thresh is just getting those fantastic hooks, so the position in the fight's always